I got an interesting email the other day from one of our listeners, one of our readers from Winchester, Virginia. And we're going to talk about the contents of this letter over the next hour, because this should certainly alarm moms and dads who have children in public schools. Eric Sitton is the parent, and his son, a very smart young man, there at the local high school in Winchester, Virginia. And John Handley High School is the name of the institution. Anyway, parents got a letter from the school, and they were told that they would be selecting students for advanced placement and honors classes based on skin color. According to the letter, which we received a copy of, the school district was going to use something called proportional representation. And under this policy, 40% of the class would be made up of white students, 35% Hispanic, 12% African American, 10% mixed race. And the letter that was sent home to moms and dads went on to explain that public schools across the country continue to see outcomes that are disproportionate by race and social class. So the whole point of this was to develop systems. Again, this is the wording of the school system to address this division. So instead of putting all the smart kids in the AP and the honors classes, they're going to divvy it up by race. I mean, you still have to be smart, but you have to be a certain skin color. On the Newsmaker line from Winchester, Virginia, Eric Sitton joins us. Eric, thank you for being on the program today.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Starnes.
So, Eric, I want to get right down to this. I want to get your reaction when you're sitting at home and you open up this letter from the school district. You read what it says. What was your reaction?
My initial reaction was disbelief. So I reread the paragraph under equity work, which is the title that the section's under. Realized that I fully understood what it said the first time I read it, and I was taken aback, honestly. I was shocked that a school system would put something like that into writing and send home to parents.
So you're reading this, and then you present it to your son, who is going to be a sophomore at the school. What was his reaction?
He walked into the room. I handed it to him with no preface. I said, "Read this and tell me what you think." He read it. Walked into the kitchen, stood against the counter, still looking at the paper, read it, I assume, again, and asked me, does this mean I'm not going to be able to be in the AP classes I'd like to be in because I'm white? I didn't really have an answer for him other than to think that's what it says.
You know, I have to imagine that Martin Luther King Jr. must be turning over in his grave right now, this idea that they're judging kids on skin color.
And not the content of their character or their aptitude.
So, Eric, we published our story earlier this morning. On Sunday, I started reaching out to the school district. We reached out to them again yesterday, and we held our story because we had not heard from them. We had not heard from the school district today, so we went ahead and posted the story. Well, folks, the school district has now responded. So we've posted their response to the story at toddstarnes.com. Eric, I want to get your response to this because the school district is saying they do not have, nor have they ever had, any policy that utilizes race for enrollment in honors or AP courses.
I found it awful funny that they would make that statement when they actually sent home such a policy in word form and in letter form to the parents of potential AP students. And I'm also in contact with other parents that have children in the school district in John Hanley High School that received the same letter.
Well, they're saying that, they're, again, defending their policies, but they're saying, they're disputing what is in that letter. I've read the letter, and it's very clear to me it says exactly what you said it says. So I'm just really puzzled here. Is this a liberal school district we're dealing with?
Well, the school district has been beset this school year, during this past summer, 100 teachers quit from the Winchester City school system. And they were told that if they weren't happy working here, they could seek employment elsewhere. That they didn't care if their teachers stayed. So it's obvious that the school board or the superintendent himself, they just don't care about the education of the children. They're more concerned with identity politics.
Eric, in our interview, you mentioned an incident that occurred last year in one of your son's classrooms. Tell our listeners about that.
A teacher was talking to the students, explaining how she had been out with her friends on the evening. One of her friends mentioned something about Donald Trump or voting for Donald Trump, and she began to excoriate her friend to the children, saying that Donald Trump was a bad person, that no one should vote for Donald Trump, so espousing her political ideology and views to the class. When children are in class, they look up to their teacher as a role model, and the teacher is supposed to be a steward for my child while my child was in their care. I had to contact the principal via email and CC the teacher herself to say that, I was not pleased and I never wanted her political ideology to be espoused in the class to my child again. It's up to my children to make their own decisions about what they think about politics.
Well, again, and I would be remiss if I did not bring this up. The school board says, or the school district says, that you did not contact them about this concern you had.
I did not contact them. I have been to school board meetings in the past. I have spoken at school board meeting. It's, like I told you earlier, trying to run a marathon in the mud. They're going to do what they want to do. We can espouse any opinion that we want. They're going to smile and nod and do what they want to do.
All right. Well, Eric, first of all, thank you again for bringing this to our attention. I think there is a story here, and I feel like the school district, they got caught trying to force this identity politics issue down everybody's throats, and I'm glad you decided to stand up and speak out.